All right, welcome back to K-Stang Productions NFL analysis. It is week 7 of the NFL. That means they have about 10 more games to play, 10 or 11, depending on what team you are. There's been bye weeks. There's been great teams. There's been terrible teams. But let's get into it. Man, the Broncos played the Saints. They defeated them 33-10. Now we know that Derek Carr is hurt and Bo Nix is a rookie in the NFL. Therefore, who's going to win? Spencer Rattler did start for the Saints. If I'm not mistaken, this was a Monday night game. I think it was either a Monday night or a Thursday night. I don't remember exactly. But Bo Nix had 16 for 26, 164 yards. Now, he is getting better each and every game. However, people ask him stupid questions like, how'd you throw a pick? Oh, I dropped back and I threw the ball. Intercepted, obviously. Javonte Williams had 14 for 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bo Nix, being the dual threat that he is, 10 for 75. I think the Broncos have a great chance of having a great season. Currently, they're sitting above 500 by 1 game, so they're 4-3, and I think they're actually doing better than they are last year, honestly. But Russell Wilson was on that team, and then that whole Sean Payton and Russell Wilson diabolical fashion. I would just like to say that. Troy Franklin, 5 for 50 receiving. Lucas Kroll, 3 for 41. I don't think the Broncos have a great receiving core. I don't think they have a great running back core either. So even being able to put up 33 points on the Saints defense is impressive enough. Spencer Rattler went 25 for 35, 172 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. He was getting hounded by the defense of the Saints. And then Jake Heanor, 3 for 4, 38 yards and a touchdown. I think he looked a lot better. He looked way better than Spencer Rattler did in his first game starting. But that's just me. I'm not a coach. I don't make these type of decisions. I would just like to say Kendre Miller went 6 for 36. Spencer Rattler had 5 for 34. So Jamal Williams, he had 3 for 17. So they didn't have a great running game to start off with. And obviously you have to have a good running game to complement your passing game. Cedric Wilson Jr. went 6 for 57 and a touchdown. And then Mason Tipton. This just goes to show how great or how in need of a quarterback the Saints are at this moment in time. I think that Derek Carr made a difference. Now, when they did win those first 2 games, everybody was like, oh, what happened to the Saints? Well, this is what happened to the Saints. They've degressed within the season, and they are now 2-5. So you win 2 games, then you lose the next. They lost the next 5. Did they lose the next 5? They lost the next 5 games, and Derek Carr is hurt with an oblique injury. So, oof. I will say the Broncos defeated them in every pretty much category on the offensive side of the ball. 22 first downs. Versus Broncos 15. Third down efficiency was terrible for both teams, honestly. Matter of fact, the Saints did have 5 more plays within the entire game than the Broncos. Time of possession, 33 for the Broncos, 26. I think Spencer Rattler has a lot to improve on. Obviously, we don't expect him to be a great quarterback coming out of the gate. You just get thrown into those type of situations, but you do have to be ready. And I do not think that he was ready. Even having a week to prepare, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready at all. The Patriots played the Jaguars. If I'm not mistaken, they did play in London. I think a statistic was shown that Trevor Lawrence has thrown the most games in London. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Jaguars did win 32-16. Currently, the Jaguars are 2-5. The New England Patriots are 1-6. And that's what we expect from both of these teams. Obviously, I like Trevor Lawrence, but I expect him to be a lot better. He just got a contract this offseason, if I'm not mistaken. But Drake May did make his first start, I think. 26 for 37, 276 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Honestly, that ain't bad. Some of these are probably empty calorie, if I do say so myself. The Jaguars aren't known to have a great defense, but hey, that can change. They have a terrible running game. I'm not even going to list these statistics because it's not even above 50 yards. They didn't even have 50 yards rushing. Hunter Henry had 8 for 92. That's great. I like to see that from him. Honestly, he's probably the most known, besides Kendrick Bourne, maybe. I mean, even Antonio Gibson was playing, but he didn't really do nothing either. So all in all, the Patriots are a shell of themselves. I mean, especially after Bill Belichick left, Tom Brady left, Rob Gronkowski, Julian Edelman, all the guys of the past. They have terrible leadership. Drake May is not going to get you anywhere at this point in time. He was placed into a terrible situation. I mean, if I was his father, I'd be like, you got to get out as soon as possible. But obviously, they're probably paying him a pretty penny. And honestly, if you're paying me that money, I'll take it, and I'll take the hits too. The Lions played the Vikings, and they handed them their first loss of the season. The Vikings are now 5-1 versus the Lions 5-1. But obviously, I think the Lions are a better team than the Vikings anyway. Jared Goff is having an unbelievable year. Dan Campbell is probably the coach that you would want to go to or to play for. Jared Goff went 22 for 25, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's like 83, 84 completion percentage on the year. That is unheard of. Your top quarterback has never done that, whether he's retired or playing in the league now. He went 22 for 25, 280 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, I'm really fond of Jahmyr Gibbs, which he had a great game, 15 for 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7.7, almost 8 yards per carry. He is nasty. Whether he's standing up or sitting on the ground, he's going to get some yards, and he's going to fall forward. David Montgomery, 9 for 31. He's a great power back, and he's shifty when he needs to be. But, oh, boy, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 8 for 112 yards and a touchdown. If I'm not mistaken, I do think that he's being suspended like 2 games for substance use. Somebody update me on that. Jahmyr Gibbs 4 for 44, so he was having a great game, passing and rushing. And that's about it for the Lions. They had a pretty good game. I mean, Jared Goff is playing out of his mind. I never thought I'd see the day where the Lions have a better record or a closer record to the Kansas City Chiefs or like the Eagles or like the Buccaneers or like some of these great teams. I don't even think the Vikings, I still think they're a fluke, honestly. But Sam Darnold did have 22 for 27, 259 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Just like Jared Goff, he's been having an unbelievable year, and some analysts have gone to say that he is trustworthy. Now, he played for the Panthers, played for the Jets. He looked terrible with all of those teams. But this just goes to show when you put somebody in the right position to succeed, they will take that chance, at least some of them or most of them. I'm sure if you put Trevor Lawrence with the Vikings or the Lions with the roster that they have, he'd probably do a lot better than he is right now with Jacksonville. He does not have weapons, and whoever said that, forgot which analyst said that he has weapons. No, he doesn't. Don't do that. Aaron Jones, somebody from the Green Bay Packers, he got a new contract with the Vikings, 14 for 93 and a touchdown. He did what he was supposed to do. And Sam Darnold even actually had some running games, 4 for 39. That's what I like to see from him, man. But Justin Jefferson, probably one of the top, if not the top wide receiver in the NFL at this point. If I'm not mistaken, though, Jamar Chase is leading that category. He went 7 for 81 and a touchdown. Jalen Naylor went 4 for 76. Jordan Addison went 3 for 66. And Aaron Jones went 3 for 23. So it's not like the Vikings played terribly, honestly. They just probably got outplayed and outcoached. But they had a great run. We thought that they were going to go undefeated, honestly, especially with the way they've been playing. But you're bound to lose some games. I mean, you don't often see a team go 7-0, 8-0. They're at least losing games. And they have like 10 more games to play. You're not telling me that they're going to win all 10 of those games. Absolutely not. And I expect that. I expect a loss, honestly. But it's not like it's bad or anything. More than likely, they're probably still leading. They're in the NFC, right? I'm guessing they're in the NFC West. Minnesota Vikings. I'm pretty sure they'd be in the NFC West. Vikings. Oh, okay, they're in the NFC North. I'm sorry, I'm still learning the divisions. I really wasn't too familiar with the divisions, but that's okay. This analysis is always about learning opportunities. We don't hate on the channel because some people don't know some things about football. You don't have to be a scholar to know all the information. I mean, but then again, you don't have to know every piece of information about the NFL. I'm a fanatic of the NFL, and there's some things that I do know, and I will admit that. But I am getting better with it. The Tennessee Titans played the Bills, and the Tennessee Titans are a shell of themselves. Will Levis is absolutely atrocious. And DeAndre Hopkins is traded to the Chiefs. So let's just see what they do. I'll talk about them later in this video. Mason Rudolph for the Titans is starting 25 for 40, 215 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Will Levis couldn't do that. And even if he put mayo in his coffee or not, because that's disgusting, Mason Rudolph did what he was supposed to do. Tony Pollard went 16 for 61. And the rest are nobodies, because Julius Chestnut, 3 for 15. Mason Rudolph, 5 for 13. Ever since Derrick Henry and Marcus Mariota and all those guys that were playing for them, they ain't really been looking that good. And then there's no point. Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley are still on the Tennessee Titans. I expect them to be traded, honestly. There's no way they're staying on this team. No way. Tyler Boyd went from a good situation to a terrible situation. I will say that. Tyler Boyd was with the Bengals, if you didn't know that. And then Calvin Ridley was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, but then he was with the Atlanta Falcons, but then he got suspended for gambling, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. The Bills are actually doing pretty good this year. They're 5-2, and Josh Allen is not throwing as many interceptions or fumbling the ball like he did last year or previous years. Josh Allen went 21 for 33, 323 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we will take that from him. Obviously, he's a star quarterback in the league. The Bills have him for a long time. I expect him to do something with what he has. And he just got Amari Cooper. So went from Stephon Diggs to Amari Cooper. Honestly, I think Stephon Diggs is a lot better, but Amari Cooper is not bad. Ray Davis went 5 for 41. James Cook went 12 for 32 and a touchdown. We expect to see more improvement right in this area. Keon Coleman had a breakout game. 4 receptions for 125 yards. That's what I'm talking about. And Amari Cooper did have a subpar game, 4 for 66 and a touchdown. So the Bills are looking pretty good. 34-10. We'd like to see that. We'd like to see beating up on teams that have no business playing. The Dolphins played the Colts. You'd be surprised. Colts won this game 16-10. Now, Tua is coming back this week, which will be week 9, if I'm not mistaken. Prayers up to Tua right now, man. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. I think he should have been out for the rest of the year. Honestly. But I'm not going to talk about that. Let's just pray that he's good. He's not going to wear a Guardian cap. Nasty work. Wouldn't be my decision. But, hey, if you love the game, you put your life on the line for it. Me personally, would never do it. The Seahawks played the Falcons, and the Seahawks did win. They defeated them by 20 points, and that is surprising. The Seahawks and Geno Smith went 18 for 28, 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker had 69 yards on the day and a touchdown. Then DK Metcalf had 4 receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown. The Seahawks have always been a great passing team, but then when Marshawn Lynch was here, that's the last notable running back that they had. Yeah, he was good. He was great. I love watching him. Kirk Cousins went 24 for 35, 232 yards and a touchdown and 2 interceptions. So that was probably one of his best/worst games that he's played. The Seahawks are sitting 4-3. The Falcons are sitting 4-3 as well. Therefore, it balances out, honestly. Bijan Robinson went 21 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown. We expect that from him. He's going to get his yardage every time. He kind of reminds me of Saquon Barkley in a way. Does he remind y'all of Saquon Barkley? He reminds me of Saquon Barkley. Kyle Pitts, their leading receiver, went 7 for 65. You have to have better production from your wide receivers in this matter. It's probably why they lost, honestly. I didn't watch the game. Texans played the Packers. The Packers won. Jordan Love has been unbelievable. Not going to go into depth in this game, but CJ Stroud, love that guy, man. Love to see what he's doing. Now, the Bengals did play the Browns, and the Bengals did win 21-14. I'm going to go on record. The Browns fans that booed Deshaun Watson or cheered for Deshaun Watson getting hurt, you ought to be ashamed. Now, obviously, this man probably hasn't made the best decisions within his life, but who's to say that's our business? I'm sure you've done a lot worse things in your life, too. And honestly, I think it was a settlement. Was it not? That's not an admission to guilt, is it? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously, this man has had like 20 something women say that he did stuff to him. I'm not going to say the word, but we all know what he did. Now, I believe people deserve second chances, but hey, you may not have a better heart than I do. Honestly, he came from Clemson. Don't personally know him, but I feel like, he walked the same streets that I did. I'm not going to sit here and say that the guy's the best man in the world, but there's also been people like Ben Roethlisberger, and then other people that have been like domestic violence, like Richard Sherman. So, I mean, it's wrong that we boo him, or not we, because I didn't boo him, but it's wrong that they booed him. You shouldn't have done that. Obviously, he's never done nothing to hurt me, never done nothing to hurt you. So, therefore, this is all conspiracy, this is all theories, this is all accusations. Nobody's really been proven right or proven wrong, honestly. Now, the evidence does show that there was something fishy going on, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm sure Deshaun Watson is a great person to meet. I mean, I don't know what he was doing. Can't sit there and defend the guy for the accusations. But I sure can say that we're supposed to love one another. I will say that. And so moving on, 21-14, the Bengals did win. Joe Burrow has been on a tear. Jamar Chase has been on a tear. And if he has the leading receiving yards within the NFL this year, you can bet you he's getting a new contract. Because they would hate for him to go anywhere else. Especially the Chiefs. Anyway, moving on. The Eagles played the Giants. The Eagles won 28-3. No surprise there. Daniel Jones sucks. And I will say that on record every time. Sucks. Especially get a $160 million extension. Dang. If I knew that he could do that, I could have done that too. They could have the same record without him than they do with him. Anyway, the Raiders played the LA Rams. Gardner Minshew went 15 for 34, under 50% completion. 54 yards and 3 interceptions. So that's a nasty work, but the Raiders did trade Devontae Adams to the Jets. Therefore, they probably don't really have that many more pieces left. Honestly, the only notable person that I see on this list is Brock Bowers, and he's a rookie. He went for 10 for 93. That's nasty work. I think he might become like a Travis Kelce type person. What y'all think? Matthew Stafford went 14 for 23, 154 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I will say that the game that they did play last night, Puka and Cooper Kupp was playing, if I'm not mistaken. And Cooper Kupp did have an interception. He did have a touchdown in that game as well. Commanders beat the dog side of the Panthers 40-7. That's all we're going to say about that. The Chiefs did play the 49ers, and the 49ers have had terrible luck with wide receivers from running backs within their offensive core and defensive core. Patrick Mahomes didn't have a great day, barely getting over 50%, 16 for 27, 154 yards, 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. If I'm not mistaken, he has 6 touchdowns on the season to 8 interceptions. That's nasty work. But they're still undefeated. That's crazy work. Diabolical. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes should be ashamed. I'm not hypocritical. I would talk about anybody and tell them if they're playing trash. Kareem Hunt, who's been a breakout star for the Kansas City Chiefs, 22 for 78 and 2 touchdowns. He's in place of Pacheco. And wasn't Clyde Edwards-Helaire supposed to come back? I guess he's not back. Noah Gray was their leading receiver for 4 for 66. Xavier Worthy only had 3 for 19. Travis Kelce only had 4 for 17. Whew, these numbers for the Kansas City Chiefs are looking pretty terrible. But Brock Purdy went 17 for 31, 212 yards and 3 interceptions. Jordan Mason went 14 for 58. I think this was his lowest rushing game. If I'm not mistaken, he's been at the 100-yard mark almost every game. Then George Kittle had 6 for 92. I think he's hurt too. Then Brandon Ayuk also blew out his ACL and MCL. So now he's out for the rest of the season. Deebo Samuel's out with pneumonia. Christian McCaffrey is out with tendonitis, Achilles tendonitis in both legs. Wasn't George Kittle hurt too? I think he was, or he got hurt, or he maybe hurt. I don't know. But they've been plagued because right now they're 3-4. They've been plagued, and I will say they're probably the best team in the NFL. And then let's see, Jets versus Steelers. This was a great game. Russ put the beating on them. He played great, out of his mind, but he didn't. Okay, I take that back. He didn't play as good as I wanted him to, but he got the dub. 37-15. Every component of an NFL team played their butts off, honestly, and that's how they got that win. The Ravens played the Buccaneers, and sadly, the injury to Chris Godwin is a very big topic in the NFL right now. Should he stay in? Should he still compete, even though the game is pretty much dead to rights? What is Mike Williams feeling like? Mike Williams hurt his hamstring, and now it's being reported that he doesn't come back till week 11. Right now, the Buccaneers are sitting at, what are they sitting at? They're sitting at 4-3. And if I'm not mistaken, they're probably around, because they're in the NFC South. They should be in the NFC South. So, the Buccaneers lost their 2 top wide receivers. I don't know what games they're about to win, because they don't have a receiving core, but they better get to trade for somebody. And then the Baltimore Ravens are 5-2. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry have been unstoppable. Then the Chargers and Cardinals played 17-15. Nobody cares about that game, honestly, because I ain't a fan of the Cardinals except for Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison, and nobody's a fan of the Chargers. If you are, God help you. Moving on to Week 8. I'll give you my predictions, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up. The Vikings play the Rams, and the Rams did win 30-20. So the Vikings are now 5-2. That's nasty work. Going from winning to losing is crazy work. The Packers play the Jaguars. I expect the Packers to win by at least 20 points. The Cardinals play the Dolphins. I expect the Dolphins to win this game because Tua comes back. I don't know how good he'll be mentally or physically, but I expect the Dolphins to win that. The Jets play the Patriots. I expect the Jets to win. Ravens play the Browns. The Ravens will run down their throat. I'm expecting 250 yards rushing for the Ravens. Eagles play the Bengals. I expect the Bengals to win. Actually, I expect the Eagles to win. Texans play the Colts. I expect the Texans to win. Titans play the Lions. Falcons play the Bucks. Falcons. Saints for the Chargers. Saints. I think the Saints will win that game. Bills play the Seahawks. So I'm going with Seahawks. The Bears play the Commanders. I expect the Commanders to play, and that'd be a great game, circling on Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. Then the Chiefs play the Raiders. I expect the Chiefs to win. Panthers play the Broncos. I expect the Broncos to win by a mile. The Cowboys play the 49ers. I expect the Cowboys to win, honestly, because the 49ers are not in a good spot, and Kyle Shanahan knows that. And then the Giants play the Steelers. And the Steelers have been having these night games. I expect the Steelers to win that game. So, all in all, I expect DeAndre Hopkins to have a good game for the Chiefs. Let's see what he does. Let's see if the old age rust is knocked off. But that'll be a wrap for Week 7 and Week 8 of the NFL analysis. Please leave down in the comments what you think about each and every game. Go ahead and discuss, communicate, argument with your fellow peers down below. But with that, I'll see you next time.